Hello, guys, and welcome to a new episode of the F1 show. As today, I'm going to make a preview for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Obviously, there's been a week off after the the Brazilian Grand Prix, but now it's back to business in Formula One races, race weekends, and it's a triple header, and it's the final three races plus the sprint of the 25 season. And I'm really excited. Obviously, yeah, of course, Lando has a great chance of winning the championship, and he could win the championship before Abu Dhabi, but it's still a long way to go. Still three races. There's still a sprint as well. Verstappen and Piastri are not gonna give up. They're gonna, and it's not gonna be over. And listen, Lando should win the title, but it's not over until the checkered flag comes out in Abu Dhabi. I know I say this, but I know I say in this way, but because it could be over before Abu Dhabi. But still, McLaren usually struggle in Las Vegas. Qatar, there will be obviously some complicated strategies in terms of the 25 laps per tire, and I don't know why Pirelli tried that, by the way, but it could complicate things. I know all of those things I'm saying are could maybe and etc. But it's not over. It's not over. Lando should win the title, but it does not mean that we will not have a title fight in Abu Dhabi. So yeah. And speaking of the title fight, Lando Norris is 24 points clear of Oscar Piastri. He's also 49 points clear of Max Verstappen, and if he outscores Max Verstappen this weekend, he will Max Verstappen will be mathematically out of the title race. Which it's a race that Verstappen has to. Red Bull have to win. Verstappen has to win as well to still have any chance of winning the title. Because let's be honest, except Las Vegas, I don't see after Las Vegas. I don't see Red Bull Verstappen outscoring Lando, in Qatar and in Abu Dhabi. And even if he outscores in the Qatar and Abu Dhabi, it could be like 3 points, 6 points. So I think it's gonna be difficult, unless obviously a DNF might happen on Lando's side. A retirement, a collision, whatever. Let's see. And after Zandvoort, a lot of people were saying it was over. Oscar Piastri has won the title. Lando is out of the title race, and now things have changed. So never say never. It's not over until it's over. And it's a track obviously Red Bull and Verstappen have to win. Will they win? I expect them to be better than McLaren this weekend, because McLaren, their pace in Las Vegas, I don't think it's not gonna suit their characteristics of the car. I don't think Las Vegas as a track plays into the characteristics of the car, into the terms of the strengths of the McLaren car, and not only because they've struggled Las Vegas in the past, but also most of the track are dependent on straight line speeds, and we all know McLaren are not that good in straight line speeds compared to, let's say, Mercedes or Red Bull or even Ferrari. But even though I say that, they've won the constructors comfortably, so you cannot say that they're going to be rubbish in Las Vegas. That means they're a poor team. No, they've dominated everybody this season. So yeah, but in terms of the three drivers approaching this weekend, can one of them win this weekend? I think Lando Norris is going to be difficult for him to win this weekend in Las Vegas, and it's not because he's in a poor run of form. Of course, he's an amazing run of form. He's absolutely been outstanding and dominating and crushing, and he's been an unstoppable force. And he's been an absolute machine in the last two race weekends. He's been very good since Singapore, but particularly absolute machine in the last two race weekends. And he's been more aggressive as well. As I said before about Lando, he's become more aggressive, and he's been handling the pressure and the media, etc., fantastically well. and I'm really really impressed by how Lando, how his his character off the track, because not only you win titles by performing well on the track, but it matters the most, of course. But it's also how you handle the pressure, how you handle some difficult moments, and Lando has done fantastically well, I have to say. Um, but will he win this weekend? I don't think so. I think a podium finish is possible. It's possible because obviously Mercedes, they have two drivers who should be on the podium, considering Mercedes are usually good in Las Vegas. But Verstappen, yeah, Red Bull have brought a new engine, and that might help Verstappen in upcoming races, and it showed that in Brazil, where he was absolutely outstanding in the race. He made a great comeback, and you can never discount Verstappen. So maybe a podium position is possible. A podium finish is possible. But I think the most important thing for Lando this weekend is not focus about winning the race, or a podium, or getting a possible podium, because we all know McLaren are not strongest in Las Vegas. But the most important thing for him to walk away with this weekend, finishing above Oscar, and not lose more than 10 points than Max Verstappen. I think if he does that, if he finishes above Oscar and not lose more than 10 points to Max, he still has a fantastic weekend. Even though if he doesn't finish in the podium, even if he doesn't win, in the most important, in terms of the championship, just damage limitation, finish above Oscar, and not lose too many points behind Max Verstappen. So I think that should be the clear objective for Lando Norris going to this weekend, because we all know McLaren are not that great in Las Vegas, and they're going to be like third fastest, maybe even fourth fastest car in Las Vegas, as they won the constructors last season, and they were fantastic in the second half of the season, but in Las Vegas they massively struggled there. So Andrea Stella said that they've understood some problems they had in Las Vegas last year, and we improved some things. Whether that will help us in Las Vegas, we will see. Blah blah blah. But obviously, you can bring upgrades, etc. But the problems of McLaren in the car, the track is heavily dependent on straight line speed, and McLaren are not good at that. So you can fix whatever you want, but if you don't have if you have a problem in terms of straight line speed, especially in a track like Las Vegas, is difficult. It's difficult to win and get pole position. Um, in looking at Oscar Piastri, obviously he's in a difficult run of form. A couple of DNFs. He had a penalty in Brazil. I think that's 8 races in a row, and I'm including the sprints, without a podium. Not good in a run of form. He looks well shot in confidence, but I don't think he's going to give up. I don't think he's going to give up easily. It's still 3 races to go, still a sprint as well. So, a DNF from Lando could all of a sudden put him back in the contention, and all of a sudden he could be, like for example, he could win this race and Lando have a DNF, and Oscar is now leading the championship. I know it's too much wish thinking from Oscar Piastri's fans' side, and I don't wish the DNF from Lando, by the way. But it's not over till it's over. So Piastri should be like, it's not performing well, but it's not over, and he has to give everything. Otherwise, if he's like, yeah, I'm performing badly, I give up, then yeah, he's for sure. I could see Lando winning easily before Abu Dhabi if he's. So I think Oscar has to come back strong. He has to, not give up, and so has Max. Max will not give up, of course. Max Verstappen. If you tell me which team has a better chance to challenge the Mercedes for the victories this weekend, I think it's Red Bull, Verstappen, not McLaren, because I think Red Bull are not the fastest in Las Vegas, but I think they are faster than McLaren. And with the new engine, I think it could help Max Verstappen. So I think that the guy who has a good chance of, let's say, challenging them to 2 Mercedes for the victory this weekend, I think it's Max Verstappen. So, and if he could just, but we all know he has to win to still be in that contention for the title. He has to win and hope for a lucky DNF or a lucky puncture or something like that, or something strange happens to Lando and is all of a sudden back in the contention. So Max Verstappen and his fans would hope that to be back in the contention. So yeah, but Verstappen and Piastri will not give up, and yeah, let's see. And Mercedes, they've looked. Sorry, I had to, stop the video because of the to respect the prayer. But Mercedes, I think they look good in Brazil. Cimentone had a brilliant performance in Brazil, and people say, oh, he might struggle because he's a track that he never driven. I mean, he never driven Miami and he got sprint pole. I don't think he ever driven in Brazil and he performed really well. So it doesn't matter. I think in tracks where he's driven before, he has done poorly, like Belgium, Spain, etc. Whereas tracks that he never driven before, he does well. It's just strange. But Kevin Antonelli, he was fantastic in Brazil, and I expect him to continue with that run of form towards Las Vegas, especially Mercedes. It's a track that they're usually strong, and it's used the characteristics of the car. It's cold, the temperature, etc., etc. It suits them perfectly. George Russell, he was dominant last year in Las Vegas. He won 2 wins. He had 2 wins this year, and I expect him to be up there for the victories this weekend. So I think the victory is going to be mostly between the two Mercedes, and maybe Verstappen could be in the fight. But Mercedes, they look really, really good in Brazil. The problem is with Mercedes this season is that they've had some good performances like Canada, Singapore, Brazil, Australia, where they have good performance and they've shown great pace in the car. It's just that consistency they need to fix that, especially for the next year coming the new regulations, which the new engine, according to many rumors, they should be good, and also fix the reliability, which they had some problems this year, and also fix in terms of the strategy, because strategy sometimes they've got it some wrong at times, like for example Russell in Monza in qualifying, where he should have won for the soft and not for the medium, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, there's some few things Mercedes need to fix if they want to give a proper challenge for the title. But they've looked really, really, really good. They've improved a lot this season compared to last year. So yeah, and I expect it to be very good, strong this weekend in Las Vegas. Ferrari, obviously, with the recent comments of the president John Elkann, I mean, what is he saying? Honestly, I mean, how can you blame the drivers? You've had so many quality drivers over the years, like Fernando Alonso, Sebastian Vettel, Lewis Hamilton, etc. And you tell them to shut up. Like Lewis Hamilton has come to Ferrari to try to fix the issues, help Ferrari, and instead you're telling him to shut up and drive. You're telling Leclerc to shut up when he's been shown full commitment to to Ferrari for the last couple of years, and telling to shut up. I mean, the comments that John Elkann made, he should lead by example, by the way. And John Elkann, in comments, sums up the culture of Ferrari. It's toxic. It's not an environment that everybody wants to be in. Like it's not like a family, like in McLaren, for example, or Mercedes. And John Elkann says, oh, the mechanics are doing really well. Oh, the car's improved. Oh yeah, the car's really improved. Yeah, well, every race you're risking for the disqualification. Yeah. Like Singapore and Hungary. And you're also saying the rest are not up to the standard, like drivers. Well, what is not up to the standard, my friend, is that your car is that bad that you're in the Constructors' Championship. You're below a team that is so dependent on one driver, Red Bull. Like, honestly, but how can you make this kind of comments? Like, you've not won any trophies for the last 16, 17 years. And instead you're blaming the drivers? Are you crazy? Anyway. And you look at the other midfield teams, I think Williams, we'll see how they do, but I think it's a track that let's see if they're competitive. They've been quite inconsistent at times, Williams, this season. Some tracks where you expect it to do well, they haven't done well. But let's see. But they've been very good this season mostly. You can't criticize it really. But sometimes they've lacked a bit of consistency, and they've had that poor enough fall from Imola until I think it was Silverstone, something like that. But even though they had a great start of the season, Aston Martin, let's see. Alpine, I don't expect something special from them, even though they looked good last year in Las Vegas. Gasly finishing third. Hick Sauber, let's see. Haas, they've looked really good recently, especially Oliver Behrman has looked amazingly good this last 4 races. VCARB, we don't know, let's see. But they look quite decent in Brazil. My predictions, First position, I think the pole position, I'm going for Kimi Antonelli. I think Kimi Antonelli will get pole position. And the guy who will win the race, it's Kimi Antonelli as well. I think Kimi Antonelli will win the race. Second position, I go for George Russell. And third position, I'm going for Max Verstappen. So that's my predictions. That's my preview, guys. Thank you, guys. I wish you had a nice day. See you next time, and goodbye.